Welcome back to the Community Builders Podcast, the podcast where we believe that building community and personal brand in general is the best business model for your soul. Today, I have with me Katya from Nicaragua. She's the founder of Latina Society based in London, but soon to be worldwide. Katya, welcome to the Builders Podcast. How you doing?
Hey Tom, thank you for having me. This is very exciting, finally.
No,
Yeah, I'm super excited about this podcast and talk about community and how other people can build their community as well.
awesome. Cool. Yeah, because we've been speaking for a while now, because I think almost a year, because I've followed you for I did a story just so I don't know if you know this story actually, just so the people listening can hear it as well. I did a story last year when we were in Barcelona. We did this big rooftop event, and I put a call out. I was like, okay, for other communities, I want to do collaborations with other communities. Give me some ideas, and so the idea was for my followers to send me different communities, and one of them that they sent was Latina Society. So I don't know who sent it. I'm not sure. I can't remember now. Maybe I could go back and look another time. I'm not sure who sent it, but I heard about you guys through that. So then I searched and I started following you. And I think I probably sent you a message or I commented on one of your things pretty soon on. And then we had a call afterwards, and we were like, let's do an event together. And then for the past, like, well, we just never got it working. I think both of us are pretty busy. Obviously, the life of content creator and community builders. There's always there's always an event coming up, or something like the treadmill of content never stops. But now I think that we've decided, right? June or July? Did we say July? July.
I think we said July. Yeah, it's gonna be
July.
fun. Yeah, in London.
July is going to be the first Guiri Mierda Latina Society crossover. It's going to
Yes,
take place in July. It's going to be awesome, right? And it's going to be in London.
yes. So I remember seeing your videos and everything about Gris de Mierda on TikTok. So I already
Okay.
knew who you were. Not like I
Uh,
was stalking you, but I knew it. So when I got your message, I was like, oh my God, this is very exciting because I think like Guineas and Latina Society, I think they still have a lot in common, like,
mhm,
the Hispanic community. So
mhm.
yeah, and I'm very excited for this like event coming up in July.
Awesome. I can't wait. Yeah, they do have a lot in common. I think that's actually one of the most interesting things. Well, in fact, maybe we leave that. What I was going to say was, I think the interesting thing about both of our communities is that they both lean heavily into identity. But I think we can leave that for a little bit. Firstly, I did a little bit of an introduction on you, but how about you just tell me, kind of like you give a bit of an intro into like who you are, like you're in London, for example. Just yeah, who you are and what you're all about. Just a brief introduction on yourself.
Yeah, so I moved to London about 8 years ago. I was living in Chile. I was born in Nicaragua, but I moved to. There's a lot of traveling, so I moved to Costa Rica when I was 3 years old
Okay.
for my family's like business, and then we moved to Italy. So I grew up in Italy, so
Ah,
I speak Italian as well. And then from Italy, I moved to Chile, and from Chile to London. So
okay.
I was never in like one place only. So that I think that's something that really helped me when I built my community because I really struggled to have friends for more than like 2 or 3 years because I was like traveling with my family.
Yeah.
So when I moved to London about 8 years ago, this is the first kind of like city I'm staying for this long. And yeah, it just feels like home.
Wow.
I'm a social media manager. I host events for my community, but I'm also like helping other people on their social media journey as well.
I think that you've just by accident revealed the first lesson of the podcast today, and I think it's a lot of the time. What I realize is that people who build communities actually build it from a place of necessity. So what I heard from your answer there was you spent a lot of time moving around, and you found it difficult to make friends. So once you finally found somewhere that felt like it was your home, then
Yeah.
you built what you built for yourself and for other people, what you were kind of like lacking all these years, which was a community away from home, basically. And I hear from a lot of people who have built communities the exact same thing. They're like, I wanted a community for people who don't like playing football but like to watch it, or whatever their community is, you know. And so I feel like that is definitely something that is a common thread between community builders. Would you say that's what you did?
Yeah, exactly. So when I moved to London, I knew I was going to stay here for a long time. And I was learning English. I didn't have many friends. I was waiting for my visa. So I think the first 2 years were very like stressful and very lonely. And once I start working, I was like, I actually want to meet more people. I want to meet Latin people. And there was nothing like such a Latin community in London. So I remember going on a night out, and I was like, I'm going to create my own community. And I posted a video on TikTok asking people, hey, do you want to hang out? Like, if you're Latino, just comment on this video. And honestly, that video just blew up. Like, I
Really?
had like 500 comments of people being like, hey, can we connect? Can we be friends?
No
And
way.
yeah, from there, everything was like, yeah. I was like, there is such a big opportunity here,
Uh-huh.
not just for a community, but to give a voice, a Latin community in London,
Yeah.
in the UK.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. It's so funny. So that reminds me. So I've got a cohort. I'm not sure if you know. So I've got as a part of community builders. I teach people how to build communities and teach personal brand as well. And one of the girls that was in our first cohort, her name is Marta. She's here in Madrid. She did a very similar thing. Like her first video that she posted got a lot of traction, and it was, I think the caption on screen was something along the lines of "My application to be your friend." And so she kind of did this like it was kind of like, "Hey, this I'm Martin. This is my application to be your friend. I love this. I love to go. I love showing other people my culture because she's Madalena." And she's like, "I love to show people my culture. I love this. I love that. I love books. I love poetry. All whatever she was into." Uh, and she was like, "Now I'd love to show all those things to you guys." So she kind of did this introductory video about her, because what her community was about obviously her interests. And from that, and she packaged it in a frame of, "This is my application to be your friend." And loads of people were like, "I want to connect. I want to connect. I want to connect." And it sounds like you kind of did something similar, different packaging, of course, but you were kind of more straightforward. Like, "Hey, if you're Latino and you're in London, let's connect." What did the
Yeah.
video say? What was the
Yeah. I think actually that's such a good idea, like application to be your friend. Like that's
uh
such a good way to like, connect to people online and offline. I think I was saying something like, "Hey, I've been in London for 4 years, 5 years, and I don't have many Latin friends. So if you're Latino, just leave a comment here." And I
uh
remember from that video, um, I text few people and I was like, "Okay, let's go on a dinner." And we went to a Peruvian restaurant, and 40 people show up.
Damn.
So I was just like, what is
40.
this? Like 40 people from,
Yeah,
and it was just girls. I honestly, when I walked in, I was like, maybe it's gonna be one person, two people, like, but it was
yeah,
like
yeah.
40 people there. And everyone
Wow.
was clapping like something big was happening. And I
Really?
was like, this is
Oh,
amazing. I was like,
that's
I don't know what's happening, but it feels nice. And it's so interesting. But I remember the person I sat next to now is one of my closest friends.
mm, I love
Yeah.
that.
So from
I love
that
that.
first event, we're still being like really good friends.
Okay, so
So
let's rewind a little bit though, because I think that a lot of people that are listening to this could probably learn a lot from your story for sure. So you posted that first video.
yeah,
You got like it went kind of like semi-viral. You got loads of comments, loads of people. You identified that there was definitely a gap, or there was definitely an opportunity
correct.
in what you were in this idea that you'd have, which is to unite the Latinos of London. And then,
Yes.
and so then how did you go from that and be like, okay, I'm going to do an event or I'm going to do a meal? Like, what was in between those two things? Because obviously, arriving on the day and having all the people there, the 40 Latinas there waiting for you, there's a gap in terms of how did you get there? Because a lot of people wouldn't even have the confidence to do it, you know?
Yeah, I feel like for me was just reaching out to these people and be like, hey, are you free on this specific date?
Yeah.
I remember it was a weekend. um I sent a message to the restaurant I really wanted to try, which was a Latin restaurant, a Peruvian restaurant. And it was very interesting because I told them, we're gonna be probably like 15 to 20 people. Can we get a discount, like if we're like certain amount of people? And I remember they said no, like we don't do discounts.
Yeah.
um Anyways, I decided to book like a table for 20 people. And then I was like, okay, I'll see you there 7 p.m. So just like a normal reservation, like as you're meeting your friends.
Yeah.
And suddenly I walked in and it's like 40 people. And the restaurant looked at me and they were like, we don't have space for 40 people. But they made the space. And at the end of that dinner,
Yeah.
they were like, "Would you like to come back? We give you like 50% off." So
Mm,
it's not
mhm,
the impact that you're making on the people there, but
yeah.
also you're showing yourself to businesses, be like, I can do this. Like, I brought
Mhm,
all these people to your business. And yeah. Anyways, they ended up closing, so we never go back. So
oh, really? Oh, no.
yeah. I don't think that restaurant exists anymore, but it was good
That's
food.
that's crazy. But, okay, and so what, they made the space or what? There was 40 people around, like, 20 spots, you were all in, or how did they make the space? It's so, like, it's crazy.
No, they had to like bring tables from somewhere else, but
Really?
it worked. It
Yeah, yeah.
worked. So,
Uh,
but yeah, for me it was very like everything was very spontaneous.
yeah.
I didn't think much about it because I was like, let's see how it goes. I don't
Mhm.
have experience in this. This is the first time I actually host an event.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And everything worked out because I think people are looking for connections.
yeah. Have you
And
sorry. Yeah, I completely agree. Have you ever told that story online before? Because it's such a good story.
I don't think so. No, probably my friends and my family knows, but this is the first
Yeah.
time I share that.
You should, like, tell that, like, literally on the Latina Society Instagram, you know what I mean? For me, that's, like, such a personal story, like, I feel like people could get behind, and it kind of it's important for Latina Society as well, because that's how the community was started, right? I feel like you tell that story, I think it's just you could tell that in, like, a minute and a half, or, like, in under a minute for a TikTok video or something, and I think people will be like, "Wow, it's super, like, what an amazing way to do it."
Yeah, and I feel like all the events I've done so far are very like spontaneous,
Mhm,
and it's just me trying to plan everything.
mhm.
Along the way I met people that helped me. But yeah, I really have a lot of funny stories.
Okay, amazing. And so, yeah, okay, so we've got a little bit ahead of ourselves in terms of, your story. So you end up coming to London. You end up identifying this gap in the market, or you end up identifying that, okay, I wanna make a community for Latinos in London. By this point, were you already doing content, or what were you doing for work? What's your kinda, like, work background?
Um I was creating some content on social media, but nothing too professional, I would say, just like as a hobby.
Mhm.
And I also was starting my job with Apple.
Ah, you used to work
So I had a full-time job. Um, so yeah, I
doing
I,
what?
I think I
What were you doing with that?
as a specialist, so like sales for Apple.
Okay, okay.
Um, so that was my full-time job. Yeah. And but I've always been like on social media, like posting, like watching a lot of content. So I had some experience on how it works. But
Mhm.
since I started Latina Society, then I start also building my personal brand. Because I think Latina Society is my community, but I still have to build my personal brand to work with
Mhm.
different brands.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, 100%. And I think as well, like, having a personal brand is a shortcut in life, for me at least, for many, many different things. Because ultimately, if people follow Latina Society, it's because they want to go to events, or because they want to connect with other Latinos. They're in it for their own reasons, whatever they may be, and usually, like, I'll say it's a selfish reason, but that's okay. Like, completely, that's that. Like, Latina Society, in essence, is a community, yes, but it's like a service. People would join Latina Society because they want the service of connecting with other Latinos in their city, and so people when they follow you, it's for the personal brand side of things. So they're kind of following you some on some level, because they either relate with you or they want to support you as a person, which I think is a really valuable asset, because maybe one day Latina Society lives by itself, and like, you've got somebody to manage Latina Society, but then you might want to put your effort somewhere else, and the fact that you have your personal brand, you can talk about that new journey then on your personal brand. It's like, now we've done Latina Society, it's strong. Now, I don't know, I don't know. I wanna open a yoga studio in London. I don't know. I don't know what you're into, Pilates or something. I've seen some
Yes.
Pilates videos with Latina Society as well, so that's where that came from.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it's interesting, because the personal brand, you can always leverage it, right? And you can always point it at whatever you wanna point it at. As you grow as a person, you can also grow, your personal brand grows and changes as well, and the idea is, hopefully, people are following along you for your journey. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. I think with my personal brand, I had to build it because I have to build um, I am the face of Latina Society. So
Yeah.
Latina Society is just an extension of all the content and the brands I'm working with.
Yeah.
But still work like Latina Society could work perfectly without me as well
Mhm.
at some point. But yeah, we like kind of complement each other,
Mhm.
and yeah, so then I started like working on my personal brand and hosting more events, connecting with more people. I think like networking helped me a lot at the beginning
Mhm.
because I had no idea how to host an event. So I was like reaching out to people, asking for advice. I don't know if you had the same when you started with like Guiri de Mierda, if you have
Mm.
to like, you know, get like a feedback from other people that already were in that field.
Not really, to be honest. I didn't
No,
do that.
lucky you.
No, it's for me, it was like Giddy's grew really slowly. So not really slowly, really naturally. I want to say it grew quite quickly, but like very very naturally. So the first event that we did was kind of similar to yours, not as like as a big moment, but I posted something on TikTok and I was like, I'm going to do a meetup. Whoever wants to come, come. It was in a market, like a standing market. I reserved some tables, and then the same, like 30 to 40 people that were there, and I was like, wow, damn, like this is more than I thought. And then I posted that online, and it grew again, and like we just kept doing it like that. But I was always I've always been cautious, so I've always rented out like venues and stuff that are smaller than probably what we could actually fill. And I think that kind of worked for us in a way because it kind of increased the exclusivity. Not everybody could get a ticket that wanted a ticket. You know what I mean? So it left people wanting more. And some people were telling me, "Oh, I've been on the waiting list to get a ticket for like 3 months because we were only doing one event a month at the time." So it's like I didn't get a ticket for the last two. I really want to get a ticket for this one. As soon as I got the email, I booked it straight away, no matter what. But I think that yeah, I didn't really ask anyone how to do an event because I don't know. I guess what were you asking them? Because for me, it's like I just got people in a room, give them some alcohol, and that was kind of it. Obviously, we do more now, but that was the idea at the start.
Yeah, I think for me, at the beginning it was so difficult to book the venues because
Mhm.
like in London, even if you want to have like a small space, they will charge you like a lot of money.
Okay.
So, I think I was just trying to like, negotiate with like venues and like see how could make it work.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, so I was just like asking people, "Hey, how do you do this? Do you have any like tips?" And I think it's always good to ask and kind of like get the best from every like community leader out there.
Mhm. Okay. And so you went to other communities, and what were the best tips? What did they tell you?
Uh, well, because I already had my personal brand, they were just saying like, "Oh, just ask them for a collaboration or stuff like this."
Mhm.
But um, yeah, I don't know. Like for me, when I started my events, most of them were for free.
Mhm.
So what I wanted to do is just to build community instead of getting some like money from them.
Mhm.
But then on the long run, it's not very sustainable because you also have to make some money to like keep going or like pay
There's a
people
lot
to
of work
help
that
you.
goes into it, so
Yeah.
yeah, of course you have to make money off it eventually.
Um. So there was a moment where I had to go from full time at Apple to part time. So I was
Okay.
like, there, I have to make this money back because I have base like bills to pay.
Yeah.
Um, so then it was easier for me because I was ticketing every event, and then I
Mhm.
was able to pay bigger venues, best places.
Yeah.
Because also we like very specific venues of Latinas and more fancy stuff.
Yeah.
So
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I always say the same thing as well. My advice to people that not, that they tell me, "Oh, I don't really care about monetization, all that sort of stuff." It's like you might not care about it now, but eventually you definitely will. And the only way, in my mind, I'm pretty strong on this. The only way to ensure that your community has longevity is to make money from it as well. Because otherwise, what will happen is you'll start doing some events. Eventually, even though it's great and it can be fulfilling work, there are parts of it that will feel like work. Like it's not all just like happy events and that sort of stuff. There's a lot of work that goes in to make that day or that event special. And the way to ensure that your community has a long life is that you should be getting paid for it. You're doing a lot of work for it. You're providing an amazing service that connects people. Um, of course, you should get paid for it at the end of the day. Otherwise, what will happen is as soon as life gets busy with other things, or as soon as life gets stressful with other things, you'll end up um, Yeah, that'll be the first thing that ends up going, you know what I mean? If it's not making any money or something like that, that'll be the thing that gets put on the back burner, then all of a sudden the community doesn't exist before. So I say that community, 100%, monetize your community is the best thing you can do for your community because it ensures that it has a long life.
I agree. And I think the way I changed my mindset about it was I'm actually selling an experience, right? So the whole event is an experience. So people will leave feeling in a different way.
Mhm.
So they're like, we have to charge for this
Yeah, yeah, of course.
because we have to, provide absolutely everything and make sure everything works perfectly. So yeah, I think it's just about changing that mindset of, yeah, I'm here to provide an amazing experience, but
Yeah.
also I'm here to bring a good community to you and like new
One
connections.
100%, and you should, all the work that goes into that, absolutely, you should get paid for it. Okay, so then you created Latina Society. You had the first event. It was successful, and then you started reaching out to other people to learn the business of hosting events. And their number one tip was you say sell it as a collaboration. So when you say sell it as a collaboration, am I right in saying that you'd go to the venue, you'd say, "Hey, I've got a personal brand. I'd love to do an event with you guys. Can we do it as a bit of a collab where I'll post you, or what?
Yeah.
What's that? What does that conversation go like?"
Yeah. So if you already have a social media and a community, then for the business that you're working with, for example, a coffee shop,
Uh-huh,
I was reaching out to them so we could get like some sort of discount
uh-huh,
or free coffees for the first 20 people arriving to the event. So we kind of like make it work both ways because we're providing a space for the community, but they're also getting a lot of like exposure because people are going to take pictures, videos of the event.
yeah,
And they are also going to try their coffee, their pastries, and all of that.
uh-huh,
So that's how I still working with some venues in that way because that gives it a lot of exposure. So, for example, we did like a cafeton, which is like a coffee rave, last summer, and we had like 60 people. We got the whole venue for free. We charged tickets. I think it was like around 10 to 15 pounds per person,
uh-huh,
and that includes like one small coffee.
yeah,
Um, but after that, people will still want to drink. So then the coffee shop, a slight like wine bar, um, was getting like a lot of revenue from the event itself.
yeah,
So it goes both ways because of course we are not spending money on renting the venue. We're still getting the money from the tickets, but
yeah.
yeah, I think it's very beneficial on both ways.
Okay, I've got a bit of a hot take on coffee parties. Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
I hate coffee parties. I don't
Is it because it's
understand.
sober?
I don't know. It's not. I don't mind like I mean, kind of, yeah. I just don't understand. And I've got friends, very good friends, that have like they do something called the Barcelona Coffee Rave. It's not like I don't like what they do. I think it's amazing what they do. You know what I mean? I think if people are ready to go and have that experience, then great. I just don't get it. I just don't understand. If why would you wanna go to a coffee party in the morning, listening to music, partying,
Yeah.
sober, but acting like you're, like, having this big party experience and, like, you're drunk or whatever. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
No, I have something to say. So the first drink, it's a coffee or like a matcha. And then
Yeah.
everyone was getting margaritas.
Okay.
So everyone was drunk
See,
at the end of the event. But
that
the
I
whole
understand.
marketing was cafeton.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see, this I
But people,
understand. If it's for the marketing, I understand, but your point kind of proves my point that it's like it's just like the marketing angle. I feel like it's just a marketing angle. If you actually go to a coffee party and your idea is to drink 6 cups of coffee and dance, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, when I'm drinking coffee,
uh,
I wanna be chilling out. It's like, for me, coffee is more of a ritual of like, okay, sit down, maybe write something, maybe read something, relax, it's my time. It's not like for me to drink 10 coffees, 10 café con leche, so I'm full of milk. I'm like, "Woohoo." Just not my thing.
yeah, I think like I think the whole cafeton is because you're going out quite early on a Saturday. Yeah, you
Yeah,
get a coffee and then you get like yeah, few wines, and
yeah.
by 2 p.m., 3 p.m., okay, you're done. Like you might be a little bit tipsy,
Okay,
and then
yeah.
you can keep going with your day.
Okay.
That's,
That's
I mean, everyone left very tipsy, so
okay.
they were not on coffee only.
Okay, okay, yeah, no, I get it. And I that's more like day drinking. So I really understand
Yeah.
the attraction to day drinking. But okay, that was just my hot take. Okay, and then so you mentioned before that excuse me that you were full time at Apple, but then you went down to part time. So talk to me a little
Mhm.
bit about that transitional period. Like, where was your mind state at that point? Like to even get to the point where you were deciding, oh, maybe I want to reduce my hours at Apple.
Yeah, so Apple has been my first job. So I've been with Apple for 4 years.
Mhm.
So, and I really love the team and my job. But social media and Latina Society were taking so much of my time.
Yeah,
And I was like, this is putting a lot of stress on me. I was not sleeping. Um, my temper was like really bad because I was just very, very anxious about the events and things that
yeah.
had to get done. So I remember calling one of my friends, Max, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I can either pursue my career with Apple and
Mhm,
be full time, or I can pursue my events with Latina Society. And he was like, just drop your hours.
mhm.
That was his answer. Just drop your hours.
Yeah.
And I remember going to my manager and I was like, yeah, I want to drop my hours. I think like I have to pursue something else.
Mhm,
It was very scary at the beginning, but I think that's the moment when you take the decision, right?
mhm.
Um, and like the first 2 months were a bit tough because I was like trying to figure it out how to make the same money.
Mm.
But to be honest, everything always worked out. Like
Y
because you have more free time, you have more time to be creative
Mhm,
and to plan more stuff.
mhm.
So yeah, was
Okay.
very scary at the beginning, but it was a good jump.
Yeah, nice. And that's I think that's like another lesson of the pod that seems like a reoccurring lesson that the guests that I've had on so far have reiterated time and time again, and it's something that I resonate with as well because it's something that I've done too. And it's like if you feel something instinctively and you feel like you have this desire to, like in your case, for example, put more effort into Latina society and put more effort into following your dream or your curiosity, I'd say, because a lot of people don't even know their dreams. My advice is always do it because you'll never regret at least giving it a go. You know, maybe you try it and it's not the thing that you thought it was, or maybe you think, you know what, like this wasn't for me. I'm going to go back and pick up more hours at Apple again. A lot of the time, you can usually go back, but when you have an opportunity like what you have right now with Latina Society, you don't. That that usually comes at a specific time and a specific moment, and it's unique to you right now. And so that you don't really get another shot at that. You know what I mean? It doesn't come around again. Whereas, like you can probably pick up your hours at Apple again. You can probably get a different job that's very similar to the job at Apple. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Latina Society exists now. The point that it's at exists now. You posted that video that went viral, and you did the first meeting, and 40 people came out of nowhere. These are very specific moments that can't really be recreated, and so you should follow your curiosity. That's a reoccurring
Yes.
theme that's occurred across a lot of our guests so far.
And I feel like I met a lot of community leaders during this journey,
Mm,
and most of them are already incorporate. So and they still incorporate, and
yeah,
they have big communities in London, and it's amazing. But they really struggle to to find the time to do all of this together.
yeah,
So I feel if you have the chance, if you're building a community and you can invest most of the time building that community or your social media personal brand, I think that's super important because that will stay with you forever. So
yeah. Well, unless you end up getting deplatformed by something like Instagram or TikTok, that's the only scary
well,
thing. And
yeah.
what I always tell people with personal brand stuff is obviously, like, you probably know this, but working in social media, but, like, people think that their TikTok or their Instagram page is theirs, but really it's completely at the will, or their YouTube channel or whatever is theirs. It's completely at the will of these platforms that you're on. Like, before, in the past, I've had my Instagram, was put on, like, a warning. When I first got my Ray-Ban Metas, there was a weird glitch or, like, a bug in the system where when you sync your Metas for the first time with your Instagram, it put me on like a countdown of 30 days and my account was going to be deleted. I was like, what the hell? I've got no idea
What?
why. I got no idea what it happened. But when I looked into it, Other people had had the exact same problem when the first time they synced their Ray-Ban Metas as well to their phone, which was
That's very that's very scary. But
exactly.
yeah, I feel like if you have a community, you can go to any platform
Yeah,
and people will still be there for you, if that makes sense. So let's say like TikTok is gone tomorrow
yeah.
and there's another platform and
Mhm.
you have the same community, they will
The
probably
thing
go and follow you and you know, and you can grow again because that like the idea is still yours.
mhm.
And in real
I
life you still have that community.
I agree. But I think it's like the more the logistical thing of, okay, how do you get the message to the same people? Which is why I always say, like building your email list is the most important thing for me. Like we do a lot of work on our side to make sure that we're collecting all the emails of everyone that comes to an event of ours. We make sure that I release lots of different lead magnets, and I'm always pushing people to sign up for newsletters and all that sort of stuff. Also, all of this is because I want to receive their emails. Basically, I want their emails because for me, if TikTok disappears, well, I don't really use TikTok much anymore, to be honest. But if Instagram disappears tomorrow, at least I wouldn't have to start from zero. I've got my email list where I can communicate to people and be like, Look, guys, like my Instagram, I don't want to say this out loud, but imagine my Instagram was deleted, then
I know.
I wouldn't have to start from zero. I've still got my email list. Is that something you do as well with an email list, or
So I was gonna ask you about that because I've been very naive with that. How
okay,
I do we do have like newsletter
yeah,
where you can sign up and stuff, but
okay,
I've heard a lot of people saying like emails are so important. There's so much
mm,
value in having people's email,
mhm,
and I never think about it. Like I'm just like it's just an email. But
yeah.
how's your take on that? Like
So I think the email list is mega important. So in my community builders in the first cohort, like in the course that I made for it, we speak about email a lot, and it forced me to kind of when I was creating the course, it forced me to really understand why I think email is so important. So I looked into it. Instagram stories are good for selling. Instagram reels aren't so good for selling. They're okay, you know? But what I found is that it works very, very well. For example, I've got 100,000 followers. Most posts that I put out probably get between 20 and 50,000. So that's like the post itself is like that if you consider that as like open rate, that's under 50% open rate. You know what I mean? If I do a story, I might get maybe in between 1,000 and 10,000 people see it. 10,000 would be a really good story, you know? And so that's under 10% open rate from my entire following. And it's because I'm at the mercy of an algorithm. I'm at the mercy of Instagram deciding to show my story based off engagement, or the same with my reels. And so then now I compare that to emails. My emails are around 50% open rate. So for Guiris y Mierda, emails are around 50% open rate, and around 60% open rate for my personal newsletter. I also do a personal newsletter about like personal brand and my own like reflections on life and that sort of thing. And so the open rate there is like almost 5 times better straight away. So just that should show that it's very, very good. Number two is because you only can include so much in a post. Like when you're building, for me, like when you're building, it's about the medium itself. When you're making a video, for example, if I'm trying to sell something, I have to think about a story that provides enough value alone that then I can fit in my product or whatever I'm trying to sell, or like if we're trying to promote an event, I have to fit in my event or into my community builders course. I have to find a way to kind of shoehorn that in. And it always leads in like way less views, way less conversion. People just don't like to be sold to so much, especially in short form content. You've only got a minute. People want entertainment, people want relatability. When you compare that to emails you can take longer. People sit down with an email and they consume it differently. They're ready to read something. There's links they might be able to click. You can link them to an event page, or you can spend longer explaining, for example, including photos, showing the vibe of what the event's going for, or the dress code, all this sort of stuff. For me, it's a different medium, and you can just tell a more thought through story, I guess. But with that mixed with those three things basically. So the fact that the open rate is so much higher if you compare it to like stories or videos, The fact that they can't take it off you, like nobody can take your email list because no matter on what platform you've got, you can always download your email list. Like if you use
Yeah.
Mailchimp or Kit or Beehive or anything, these are the big ones. Um, you can always download your email list and go somewhere else. Um, and whatever the third point that I just said was, so the
The more you can add more information
oh, yeah, and
when
you
you
can
are,
build out
yeah,
something more. You can kind of like keep you can add more information. You can build out a nicer email, and you can kind of
yeah,
even make it brand consistent. I don't know. It's obviously and it's not an if instead of, it's an and. You know what I mean? It's good to have your videos, and for me, I think of it like a funnel. This is like it's not nothing that I invented. This is the general way, and it's like you got to figure out something. You're really good at this, for example, posting content that's good top of funnel, which is like I'm going to post something really relatable. So for you, I've seen your videos. Like you get really good views on your videos, especially because you've got about 60,000 followers, right?
yes, yes.
On Instagram.
Thank you.
No, but then your views that like way outperform your following, your views. You're getting like hundreds of thousands, millions of views on your videos and stuff. So that's really good top of funnel content because it gets a lot of eyes on your page. But then what your job is to do after that, for me at least, is I think how do I take these views and how do I capture some of them so I can start selling to them. And so for me, that's where the email list comes in. If I can get some of these millions of views up here and start collecting their emails, and then I can start selling them either my products or my courses or my events or really all of the above. You know, I want to get them in the events, and then the events. They pay for one event. They're like, oh, I like the event. And they go from the event, and then they're like, oh, maybe I want to be a golden giddy. That's our premium subscription. And they're like, oh, I want to be a golden giddy. And then once they're a golden giddy, they're like, oh, wow, maybe I'd like to do my own community. Actually, I love this community thing, but my passion is deep water diving. I don't know. I'm going to make my own community, but I can see that Tom can help me, so I'm going to join his community builders. And it's like I get them into the ecosystem and just keep upselling and upselling, and that's kind of how I've built. I think my business is quite robust for that reason. There's still a long way to go. I've still got loads of stuff that I want to do and make it better. And then at the top of that step ladder, for me at least, is one-to-one coaching. So I've got a couple of people. I only take on a couple of people at a time, but I do high ticket one-to-one coaching. So if somebody wants to work with me in the closest capacity, then I work with them
Hmm.
on a one-to-one basis where I coach them on like kind of the stuff that we're talking about now. Really, it's like the importance of email lists, but I show them how to build it and all that sort of stuff too. And that's kind of that's why emails are so important because it's like you've got all this attention up here, like you've got all this attention, but if you don't funnel them into anywhere, I feel like you're losing you're losing money. You know what I mean? That's what it comes down to at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You're losing not just the money, but if you're losing that attention, you've done all this good work to get the attention, but you want to give them somewhere to go. You see what I mean?
Yeah, no, I completely relate with that because I feel like there are so many videos I've done that went super viral, like 10 million views, like
Yeah,
crazy. Um, but again, there's no like kind of retention for
yeah,
these people, right? They will follow me probably, but it's not like I'm selling something to them.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
just, and this is very interesting. But yesterday I was watching some videos about how to have a budget and stuff like that. And I
Uh-huh.
followed the girl that was making the video. And suddenly I get a message from her, but it's just like
Many
it's not
chat
her.
information.
Yeah. Saying like, oh, if you want to learn how to have a budget or if you want to be part of my community, just say
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
But this is like so interesting. I was like, people can do this,
So
and if every person can do have this like automatic message where you can sell directly a course or something,
mhm.
it makes it so much easier
So
because you're
that's
already reaching out to the person.
so yeah. If there's one thing that you take away from I didn't know that you don't use ManyChat. You never use ManyChat.
No, I don't.
Okay, so I'm going to drop some sauce on you right now. If there's one thing you take away from this conversation, it's just get ManyChat. And I should be sponsored by ManyChat. The amount of people I've told to get ManyChat. A big creator,
Many
I
chats.
found ManyChat, ManyChat. Yeah, I
Okay,
can
what?
for people who are listening, I can include it in the video description. But ManyChat, and basically what you do is I sat down with a big creator who also makes content in London. His name is Mark. I don't know what his whole thing is, but anyway, he's done lots of videos in London. Now he's more of a remote kind of guy, and he does videos all over the world. He We had a conversation like this, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I use ManyChat," and I was like, "What's ManyChat?" And he was like, it's that automation thing. So at the end of my videos, sometimes I'll say comment join, and then I'll send you all the information, or comment whatever. And basically, this is the best thing ever. So when I'm talking about that funnel thing that you were talking about, we were just saying before, like imagine if on one of those big videos you put a pinned comment and it's like, hey, if you want to join Latina Society, comment Latina or something like that.
Yeah.
And then everybody that comments Latina, you automatically send them a DM. You don't have to do anything. You pre-program this, and it's very, very easy. It's like very visual to do. You pre-program it, and you say, hey, and you can do literally whatever you want here. You can sell them in that first message. You can be like, hey, you want to join Latina Society? Give me your email, type in your email, and I'll add you to the email list. That can be it. Or you can be like, where are you based? Are you based in London? Are you based in Madrid? Where are you based? And then you can kind of give them different options based off what they're doing. You can customize it however you want. You can qualify them.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing, honestly. And so if there's one thing that you take away from this conversation, I'd say definitely get on that, because for me, that's led to so many sales. Like that's how we sell our speed dating events, for example. We just add a call to action at the end of those videos. Hey, if you're looking to date in Madrid, and comment date, and we'll send you all the information. Boom, we get. It's good as well because it drives engagement, because people comment date. People that wouldn't comment otherwise, they comment more. And then you can even pre-program in responses. So like what we do, for example, is somebody comments something. Like we have right now, an example of this is I just made a Madrid barrio guide, so like a neighborhood guide. And when people comment barrio, I send them the guide. And so, but then I also send them a response under that same email that says, hey, do you like Barrio Lavapiés, which is like known for being a bit more of like a rough barrio in Madrid? And then people always
Hmm.
comment back. They always think it's me that said that has actually commented that back, and they're like, no, I don't like Barrio Lavapiés. It's too it's too dirty for me, or it's too dangerous for me, or whatever. So you can engage even more and more and more. You know what I mean? So you're just boosting the amount of time people are spending on your videos, boosting the engagement on your videos. So yeah, ManyChat. You link it up to your Instagram. It's approved by Meta, so it's like it's nothing dodgy. It's all approved by Meta. I've got one for every account that I have, for my personal, for Guiri Mierda, and for my business account, Tommy Hoppy. I've got ManyChat linked up to everything.
Oh wow. No, I have no idea.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
and it's like, and every time we host an event, we get a lot of people asking like questions, and it's like it's very tiring to like reply to every person like one by one.
good. Yeah,
So like
with
it
Guiri,
makes it so much easier. I'm gonna no, I already like checked it. I'm gonna.
yeah. So with if you after this, if you want to like see how it works, just go and type hello to Guiri Mierda, and we have an automated response that pops up, like as in like in the DMs, and it's like, hey,
Yeah.
um, here are the frequently asked questions. Do these answer your questions? So it's things like, can I come alone to your events? Because we always get asked that, and we're like, yes, we have
Hmm.
icebreakers, so don't worry, you can come alone. Can I come if I'm not a giddy? Yes, you can come if you're not giddy. Blah blah blah. And it's like, if we didn't answer your question, ask it again, and then somebody will read it soon, and then we leave them a link. It's like, if you want to see our events, here's the full list to our events, or whatever we have. But then for every
Hmm.
comment that comes in, I think we answer about 70% of people's questions automatically, that otherwise I would be the one like blah blah blah. And to be honest,
Yeah.
I'm not the most patient person. Like when somebody's asking me stupid questions, I'm like, oh god, this shit again.
No, I think I'm very patient, but
Really?
it makes life easier. Yeah.
I'm not that
I think
patient.
that's what the girls in my event say to me. Oh my god, you have a lot of patience. I couldn't be I can't do this. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to have a big community. And I'm just like, it's fine.
Okay. So
I can handle it for now.
I want to dig in more into that then. So what's it like having having a community like this? What are the downsides when the girls are telling you that they couldn't do it? Why? What's the reason they couldn't do it?
I feel I think I have a lot of people in my community who wants to create their own ones,
Yeah.
but there is like that barrier of saying like this is a lot of effort, or how do I even start?
Mhm.
And I think we all felt like this at the beginning. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of responsibility because you know you have a voice for your community and you have
Mhm.
to make the most of it. But for me, it has been, yeah, a really great journey. So I don't see any like downsides on it. Like
Oh, really?
no,
What about, have you had
no.
it? Because for me, I definitely see downsides for sure.
Um,
But
the only thing I've had, sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, is I had a lot of people copying me, especially in London,
oh, really?
since I started. Yes.
Yeah.
I remember like the first few months, I think I was being extremely friendly. I was like oversharing absolutely everything.
Mhm.
And there were some people like taking notes, and they
Mhm.
exactly replicate my community.
Oh, really?
So it was called something like Latina's Dream or something like that.
Yeah.
Um really bad editing, like everything, like the events were like not good at all. And I was like,
I
I'm
think
not
you're
gonna
doing
worry about this.
enemy of Community Builders podcast.
They don't even
Official.
exist now. You
Oh,
see,
really?
like it's just like a community that it was not sustainable because
Mhm.
they just didn't have a plan either of how to make it work.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't think they ever exist. But I remember I was like, but if people are copying you, it's because you're making a good job, so it's fine.
Exactly. So for the stance that I've always had on other communities coming out of Guiris is, to be honest, I always supported them. Like, it's annoying for you if someone's doing like Latina Society. Obviously, that's annoying because it's like it is your exact community, and it's like stepping on your toes completely. But with Guiris, like, we've never had anyone that's tried to do exactly what we're doing. They always put their own spin in it, to be honest. And honestly, like, I always just encourage people to do it because if they want to, I know how much work it is to do a community. It's not. It looks fun from the outside, and of course there are fun moments, but it is fucking tough. There's so much work that goes into it. There's so much stress that goes
Yeah.
into it. There's so much, like, if you're dealing with hundreds of people, especially for some of the events, we've had events of 100 people that have been cancelled on the week of Christmas. You know what I mean? A week in December, and it's like that is the hardest time to book venues because all the big companies are paying lots of money to book big venues in Madrid. And we've had in 2024, we had a venue cancel on us the week of the event, and we already had like 150 people signed up. That would have been, if I had to
Wow.
refund all those people, that would have been fucked. And so then my stance is, if people want to copy Giddies, I welcome them to take on the stress as well, because I know that I've got what it takes to take that pressure and to turn it into something good. You know what I mean? I know because I've got the proof. I've been doing it for like 4 years now. So if somebody else wants to do that, and they can handle the pressure of like of that, exactly, like events canceling, all the stress that goes with it, then look, they deserve it as well. So who am I to tell them
Yes.
no? You know what I mean? And also, that's kind of why I started my community builders. I'm rebranding it. I keep calling it community builders. I'm rebranding it just to builders because I'm going to go more into the personal branding rather than just community building. Personal brand, and the community for me is one pillar of personal brand that you can
Yeah.
explore if it suits your personality. Um, and so I'm rebranding to builders, and that's why I launched my builders cohort, basically to teach other people, because I kind of figured it's great having a community. There are loads of benefits of having a community, but it's also, I see there's this trend right now of more and more communities on the rise, and so I thought, well, I would like to be the person who can be associated with teaching people how to grow communities as well, from the perspective of somebody who's done it, because then I'm not just one of the community that's growing. I'm also I'm growing my community because it has so many benefits and I love it. But I'm also the person that can help other people build their communities too, because I've done it. That's kind
Yeah.
of my thinking on it.
Yes. No, and that's amazing because I think there's a lot of people out there with like really amazing ideas and
Yeah,
that wants to bring people together, but they just need that guidance.
yeah, yeah.
So it's amazing that you could help, like you can help them.
For sure. We've already had a couple of people make really cool events as well. There's some really interesting communities that are already successful as in they were successful independent of me, but we just had one, a girl called Marta. She has her community is
Mhm.
called the Local Club, and she just did her first like picnic, and she said she was super happy with how it went. There was way more people. She sold out of the event and all this sort of stuff. And I feel like, at least, I mean, I'm giving her all the credit 100%, but I think I'm glad that we could support her, at least giving her confidence that she can do it. You know what I mean? That for me was a really nice moment when she was like, she posted on the community builders page like, "Oh my god, we just sold out the event. I couldn't believe it. I woke up this morning." It's all her work. She did all the work. You know what I mean? So I'm not taking credit for it, but it was nice to know that we were at least some part to do with it as well. It was super fulfilling for me to see her succeed like that.
No, that's really nice.
So tell me, back to you, not to my community builder stuff. Back to you, because I
No,
want
I
to
want
know.
to hear about it.
That's nice. That's what I like about the podcast. We can just kind of share stories, and it's like super informal, right? I wanted to know from you, if we're going back now. So like, I want to go forward later on, like before we wrap up and everything. If we're going back now, if there's one thing, if you look, because we're speaking about the early days, is there something that you would do differently if you could do it all again? Do you think it just went perfectly and it happened for a reason, or do you think I would do this differently or I would do that differently?
I think I will do some stuff differently, but because at the beginning, I even though I saw there was like a big opportunity,
Yeah.
I I think I had too much fun on it, you know? Like I didn't see it as a like a business or like something that could grow on the long term.
Yeah.
So I remember that some of my events I was just like not very like how can I say organized.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just going with the flow for
Yeah.
everything. I was just it will work, it's fine. Like let me just book the venue. But there
Cool.
was not a plan. And I think that affected some of the events.
Mhm.
It ended up going well, but I think being more organized and having like a better vision of where you want your community to go.
Yeah. And that probably leads really.
I was a bit like a mess. I was like a bit of a mess. Yeah.
Oh, really?
At the
Did it
beginning,
ever
yeah.
backfire? Did something ever go wrong at an event?
No, but we used to have a lot of parties.
Okay.
So then I think the parties just went like all over the place where um yeah, it was too much.
But when it for me, it's interesting. So Latina society, I think this is another big lesson of what I teach as well. Usually, it's like you've done a really good example of making your society or making your community for I thought it was for Latinas, so women, so Latina women in London, right? But and I think that's key to when you carve out a niche like that or you define who your audience is or who your community is for, obviously it lowers your TAM, is it called? It's not gonna be relevant to everybody. However,
Yeah.
the people it is relevant for, they're gonna live, breathe, and die for the community because it is there. They associate it with it so much. I think that's a really good learning from community building in general. But when you said the parties got out of hand, can men go to Latina society and can non-Latinos go to
Yes.
Latina society? How does it work?
Yeah. Yeah. So when I thought about the Latino Society, like the name, it was just
Yeah,
like when I was at work in my lunchtime. I was
yeah,
like, it sounds good, you know, Latina Society. And my
yeah.
friend was like, yeah, it sounds good. Okay, let's use this as a domain.
Mhm.
But yeah, we like men can come to the events if it's like a big party or a cafeton.
Okay.
Um, non-Latinos as well, like more than welcome. We had a lot of people from like Poland as well, Germany.
Um,
So because they love just the community, they love the music. So it's we
they love
also
the women.
are
I'm sorry, they probably love the women as
yeah.
well.
Ye probably, yeah. And is, gay friendly as well, like, all my gay friends are always in my event supporting. So, um, yeah, it might look, very, like, limited from the
Yeah,
outside, but once you
yeah.
go to the event, you can see, like, so many people from different backgrounds.
Okay, cool. I guess so.
So
The
you have to come to the events and say
100%. Whenever I'm in London, I usually send you a message and I say, "Hey, is there anything going on in London?" I went in when you were saying earlier on actually about Latinos in general. There's nothing for Latinos. I would always go to because I like Latino culture as well. Obviously, I'm in Spain, which is Spanish, but there's loads of Latinos here, and I've kind of fallen in love with the culture and with the music and with everything. So when I go to London now, me and my friends are always usually looking for like something either in the pub, normal
I
English
think you
stuff,
text me
or
about it, yeah.
yeah,
You
and
were
so we
looking for a
ended
Latin club.
we're looking for a Latin party, baby. So we went down to Elephant and Castle. You know, there's like a
Mhm.
under the bridge there. I don't know if you've been there. Under the bridge, there's
Yeah.
like there's little like it's like a little Dominican bar that we went
Mhm.
in and like we were the only like white guys in there basically, or we're the only like non-Latinos, also non-white in there, and we sat down and going in, we felt a little bit like everyone was staring at us. But like after like 10, 20 minutes, super welcome. We started chatting to people and like we were in. I think at the start they just thought like, why the hell are these guys in here for? Are they in the wrong bar or something? Because we stuck out like massively. And there's another bar around there as well. Maybe do you know the name? It's like a really famous. It's like a
Uh,
famous Latin bar.
Paradise?
Paradise. Don't
Bola
know.
Ocho?
Bola Ocho. Bola Ocho.
I
Yeah,
know, but that's like the ghetto.
yeah. yeah,
I've been there a few times with the Latina Society, and I'm telling you, everything just get out of hand. Where you're
yeah.
like, yeah,
I, I like
like trying
the
to
I like
keep the reputation, like, yeah,
if you want to keep it like high class, but I like the ghetto.
yeah.
I like the ghetto vibes. To be honest, I like the perreo hasta el suelo, all that sort of stuff. That's fun for me. You know?
Yeah, it's very interesting because every time I go to Elephant and Castle, now because the Latin community is growing and my social media, so they will be like, "Oh, I know you, Latina Society."
Okay. How
Yeah.
sweet. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
You get
I
recognition.
remember I remember going for arepas because I love arepas, and
Yeah.
the lady was like, "Oh, can you please post a story and tag me?" And like, and yeah, it's very cute. Like, and it's nice to see like that community kind of like wanting to support, like.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. That's amazing, and that's what I think is great about with Guiri Mierda as well. Like making a local community, especially, it's great for like local connections. To become like an authority figure the city
Mhm.
that you live, is amazing because it's great for networking. You briefly mentioned networking earlier, but it's also there's lots of doors get open for you if you are like seen as an authority figure. So just because I run giddies, people kind of sometimes come to me with opportunities. They come to me, they ask me for advice and stuff like that. And it's like, for me, I don't think I'm particularly qualified to give advice on a lot of things, but I love to help people where I can. I love to be seen as someone that people can come to if they need something or if they need connecting with somebody else. It puts you in an interesting position for sure, and that's what specifically something that social media doesn't do as well, but having a in-person community does really well. There's a lot of trust that's built.
And I feel like you'd never know who's watching. Like,
Yeah.
this is something I've learned in the last year, but I
Mm.
just I don't think if I mentioned that I came back from Thailand. I was in Bangkok for 2 nights in a hostel, and I remember just packing my stuff, and there was this Latin girl from Colombia. And I was like, "Oh, if you ever come to London, just, like drop me a message. We can get a coffee or something." I'd never mentioned anything about my community. And she get back to me and she's like, "Oh, but I follow you on TikTok. Like, I follow your Latina Society."
No way.
And I was like, "What?
Crazy.
How?" And it's like, we're in Bangkok, like super far from like Latin America and London, and you're telling me you already know about my community.
Hmm.
So it's just like, yeah, because every time I go to London, like I always search for like events, and I saw your profile like coming up a few times. So I was like, you never know who's watching you. So that should be like enough reason for you to like, go over and, you know, put yourself out there.
Yeah. No, I love that. That's a great way to it's an inspirational way to end things on, I think. Okay, Katya, before we go, have you got anything that you want to plug? Have you got anything coming up? Have you got where can people find you? Tell us all that sort of stuff.
So we definitely have an event coming up in July with Guiri de Mierda. We just need to
100.
confirm the date, so that would be fun in London. And
Yes.
well, you can find me on Instagram or TikTok, Katya Rivas slash underscore. Is that how do you call it
Yep.
in English? Yeah, underscore. But yeah, if you're ever in London and you want like a Latin community, hang out with people, yeah, come find us.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. And yeah, I'll include all your links down in the description of the video as well. Or if you're listening on Spotify, the links will be there. Okay, guys, if
Thank
you've
you.
liked what you've listened to today, and if you thought, I want to build my own personal brand, or I want to build my own community, then that is what I can help you out with. The links I run I've referenced it a few times as we've gone through today's pod and today's conversation. But I help people with exactly that. I do one-to-one coaching with people that are looking to build a personal brand, and I also help people build their community as well in a more of a cohort style. If you're interested in any of that sort of stuff, all my links are below, so go and dig in and go and have fun. Katya, it's been amazing. Thank you so much. You've been the perfect guest. I'll see you in London in July.
See you in London. Thank you. Bye bye.